Franklin County Board of County Commissioner 9th session. Commissioner Jones, would you lead us in prayer and pledge, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Our Father, we thank you today for this day that you've given to us. We ask that you would be with us today for the rest of this day as you have before we got here this morning. Father, we thank you for understanding and discretion today. Wisdom, Lord, that you've given to us if we just ask of you. We thank you for it today in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Next on the agenda will be approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous. Next on the agenda be payments of county bills.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Parrish. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimous. Public comment. Next on the agenda is public comments. There are no public comments.
Mr. Chairman, can I just say a word of encouragement?
Yeah, you
I
can.
just wanted to welcome public comments. I think it's very, very important. I was just saying in some ways how isolated we are up here. And we value your thoughts. And we just want you to know that this open forum welcomes you to come and speak with us and get us a good education. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other commissioner got something? Okay, we'll move on down to the Department Director report. Mr. Howard Naval, Superintendent of Public Works.
Good morning, Commissioners. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
We've got 90% of our roads fixed. It's finally dried out a little bit, where we can work on the roads. And we got a lot of crater holes on the shoulder of the road where the, trucks getting up all that debris, which probably next week we're gonna be working on going through the county, filling them in. And at Alligator Point on the road, we're moving the road over by the firehouse, which we started on yesterday. So hopefully by the end of the week, we should have that finished.
Good, thank you.
That's good. Anybody got anything for?
I did, yesterday's, good morning, Commissioners. Yesterday, Commissioner Jones asked me to contact FDOT about the paving project working from east to west, I do believe. And so, just this morning before the meeting, I have a contact number now. FDOT called me. I now have a contact number for the CEI for that project. And with that, I'm gonna get a schedule from him this afternoon and see if he could update me every time they have a meeting as to every 2 weeks or so, they have a meeting as to where they are, what they've done, and what they expect to complete. And so I'll send that to you, and hopefully at the next meeting, I'll have more substantial information for the board regarding that project.
So we'll be getting a lot of calls on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Michael, did he mention anything this morning about that spot they fixed that's already got potholes in it?
Yes, he said he doesn't think that's a permanent fix.
Okay.
But he told me to when I get a chance to talk to CEI this afternoon, to find out if it was and what they're gonna do about that.
The one that's like that I didn't clarify with you yesterday, it's the one closest to Carabel Beach. Going from east to west, there's 2 spots there, but it's the one closest to the beach.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
They never paved that one, Ricky. They went by it, so just a big old hole.
You're talking about the one going to the beach?
So if you're coming from East Point going up, they'd stop right there before it, and right the other side, that's a big old hole. They never put nothing in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
I'll have more information as
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I think they're getting everything ready for paving.
All right.
Well, I went through that other day and,
Yeah.
well, a couple of days ago, and right for the beach there, they had paid that big spot But it was a hole in there.
Yeah.
Ain't that big? I don't know. But it's still 90% better than what it was.
I would say too, a lot of complaints I've got is, I guess employees trying to get to work for 8 or 8:30, wishing that they were, and I don't use the bridge in the morning, wishing they were more consistent as to when they start, so they have a better judgment, so when they leave home to get to work on time. Because some mornings, they're not there early, other mornings they are, so I'll find out what I can.
Okay. Anybody got anything else for Mr. Howard?
I do have a question, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay. Mr. Howard, as some of you guys are out and about, this isn't really on you, but this is something we were talking about the other day at the TDC meeting. If you're on either ends of the county or in the north side of the county, while you're there, could you get whoever's there to just notice if the signs coming into the county are still intact after the storm? The ones welcoming people to Franklin County, or if they need repair, or, so the TDC board can know what needs doing and.
We got one that was down, well, we got two, one on the west end is down, one on the east end was down. We put it back up yesterday.
Right.
We just gotta clean it up some,
Okay.
but yeah, but we do that.
Yeah, there should be a total of 6.
6.
One on C-30, one on Highway 98 on the west side, 65, 67, and
Okay.
the, where you come in Alligator Point, and also where you come in through South Chopper.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Howard, y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda will be Mr. Fonda Davis, Solid Waste Director.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I have one action item on my report. Before I go into that, I'd like for you to look at the bottom of my report. You'll see outstanding tipping fees. We have already received approximately $40,000 in tipping fees. I know it's not much, but we have received some. Just want to let you know that. Action item, Hurricane Michael yard debris. Request board approval to go out on bids for the grinding of all debris hauled into the landfill after the hurricane. The solid waste department tub grinder is currently inoperable and repairs will exceed more than the cost to bid it out. Currently, we have approximately 25,000 cubic yards of vegetative debris on the site at the landfill. Asking to go out on bids.
Pledge of the board.
So move.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Jones. Any more discussion on that? All in favor? All opposed? That pass unanimous.
The only other thing, just for your information, the cameras have been installed at East Point Ball Field.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good. Anybody got anything for Mr. Davis? Y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda will be Ms. Pam Bonnell, but I see a assistant
Yes.
standing in for.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Pam has the FEMA kickoff meeting this morning, so that's where she's at. The only action item we have is to discuss the funds for the Limemark fire. I've given you all what our long-term recovery meeting entailed. We discussed, we spoke with Debbie Belcher at the time and found out who was eligible for CDBG grant and who was not. We deemed that 3 were not eligible due to their income was higher than allowed. So we want to ask the board's permission to start researching to purchase mobile homes with the donated funds that were donated.
Pledge of the board.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Parrish. Any more discussion on that?
Mr. Chairman, just wanted to clarify, this funds that you're talking about are the ones that used to be the funds managed by Franklin's Promise.
Correct,
And-
yes.
And now we're at a pivot point to start focusing on distributing those funds to the people as eligible.
Correct. And we had a meeting with Capital Area Community Action, which is our new ESF 15. We invited Franklin's Promise. We also had it with Debbie Belcher, and we went through item by house to determine who was eligible and who was not.
Okay. Okay, good.
Question. With the funds you got now and the amount of trailers you need, do you have that much money?
We believe so. We're going to be doing, we're doing a lot of research. I'm going to be contacting all the mobile home dealers in the area and with outside there. And Tim is going to be actually talking to the manufacturer. Tim Center is going to be talking to the manufacturing home dealerships to see if they can get us a better deal, since we're going to be purchasing 3. Then we're going to get the best deal for them, yes.
If y'all got already got the other trailers, what the people qualify? Y'all know y'all got the money enough for that.
Yes, these are the ones that did not qualify for the
I know.
CDBG grant, yes. And we went through every single one, and to assist everybody that we can. And with the other funds, the ones that were maybe living in an RV, we've determined what we will possibly do is, when Capital Area Community Action gives us a total for whatever the RV is that they're renting, is purchase that with those funds and then give that RV to those people that had RVs prior to the fire.
I guess my question is the trailer's already built?
Hopefully, we're not sure yet. That's what we're gonna do, is do some research, and hopefully they'll have, whatever the best deal that they can give us is what we're gonna be looking for, yes. And it has to be a zone 3 and meet the qualifications of the county.
The reason I was asking that, because if you get one person in the building, they probably give you a better deal than, go here and get one, go there, get one.
Yeah, no, we're going to probably purchase all 3 from the same person, so,
Okay.
So
yeah.
just so I understand, you're looking to get alternative housing for some of these folks. And
This will be permanent housing for them, yes.
It will be.
Yes,
And these are modular housings that can be brought in on site and they're fixed, is that correct?
yes. What we're looking actually at, we got contacted prior to when the fire happened. We had several mobile home dealerships. They had contacted us and gave us some pricing. So, and these were on ones that they either had on lot or that they could get their hands on immediately.
Okay.
So these will actually be like mobile homes. They'll be set up, ready to go. They can move in as soon as it's been purchased, yes.
In the interest of just saving as much money as possible for the folks, is it possible to find quality reused product that you would be able to purchase?
We're looking at all options, yes,
Okay.
and that would be, we're not necessarily has to be brand new, but if we can find one that may be on the lot that meets the Zone 3 qualifications of the county, then we will look into purchasing that, yes.
First of all, I just want to make sure we're on the same. You use the term modular home, and the building department, modular home, mobile home are 2 different animals.
Yes.
So these are mobile homes.
These are mobile homes,
I
yes,
see.
and this is what most of them currently lived in
Okay.
prior to the fire, yes.
Go ahead.
I heard you mention that, figuring out how to buy these people, RVs, which had RVs before, and that's not consistent with what we're supposed to be trying to do.
No,
These RVs, we're allowed to the county done an ordinance where they could live there for 2 years in an RV, but that should not be considered a permanent home. They should have a mobile home, 1 unit per acre, not an RV.
correct. So the ones that lived in RVs, they still have to follow all the county ordinance. We have a couple that are actually living in RV lots at this time, and those are the ones that we were referring to. These were not talking about people to put it back on the lot with
Okay.
somebody else, yes.
Okay,
They
so
all
they're-
have to,
They're living in an RV park?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we're not
Yeah, no,
going
we,
back to where it once was, because all this stuff's supposed to be brought up to code and up to standard. We're not 4 or 5, trailers on one lot and all this. If they're gonna do all that, then they don't qualify for this program.
correct.
And we don't wanna do that because you're gonna cause the county more problems down the road. So as we straighten stuff up out there, we wanna straighten up and bring them into compliance like the rest of the county.
Correct,
I wanna
and
make
that's,
sure we're all on the same page with that.
yes. And that is something that we have been, throughout our, this whole process, is that it has to meet the county codes. No
Yeah.
matter where they wanted to put it, it has to be, and most of them are in RV parks, yes.
All right, let me ask one more question, because the way I understand it, if it ain't 1 unit per acre, then they don't qualify for this program. But I'm understanding that some people's already got 3 or 4 places on one lot.
And,
That has to be straightened up before they receive these trailers.
correct,
They-
yes.
They gotta get all those sheds or whatever people are living in out there and get down to 1 unit per acre like the rest of us.
Correct. And the three that we mentioned they only have one person living on that lot, or they're not currently occupying their lot waiting for some assistance. They're living somewhere else.
I just want to make sure we follow protocol as we move forward.
Yes.
Mr. Parrish, I want to make sure everybody's clear that that applies to this program and the CDBG program.
Correct.
It will-
Yeah.
It applies to both. What you said, yes, sir.
Yes, that is the thing that is the message that we have been relaying to every one of them, is they have to follow the county ordinance or the city ordinance wherever they live at, yes.
Yeah, we got the zoning, and we got to go by the code. The other thing I get, can you give me some kind of timeline?
So we are moving forward right now. Hopefully before the next board meeting, we'll have some idea of how much it's going to cost per unit. We take into account of how many people were living at the home at the time, who was actually, most of these are all people that lived there. They lived there permanently, they weren't renting. These were their homes, because we don't want to replace a home that that they rented and income producing. We want to make sure that we're giving some person a place to live back. So probably by the next board meeting, we should have a better account of how much it's going to cost per unit, so.
No, I'm talking about for them getting in their trailer.
Timeline, it just depends on what we find. If they already have one on site, it may not take them but maybe a month or so. It just depends on what we find. If they have to build them, they could take longer, especially with Hurricane Michael, and that affected a lot of people that have moved into mobile homes and replaced their housing. We haven't really gotten into those details yet. We just wanted to ask the board for permission to be able to start researching this, so.
Well, when y'all find out, how about give each one of the commissioners some kind of date, because, people be asking us.
Correct.
When are we gonna do this, when are we gonna do that?
I have a question. The
Go ahead.
one you said is written in the RV parks, do they have a property to put one on?
The ones that are renting the RV parks?
It's got the trailers and the RVs. If you get them, would they have property to put it on?
So our goal with that is most of the ones that are living in RV parks were not primary residents of that lot that was burned. They had an RV and they were living there on the auxiliary on that lot. So they really needed to be moved to an RV park to begin with. They weren't a property owner. So if they have a lot or they have land and they were living in an RV park, they still have to follow county and city ordinances. So that is our bottom line goal. We can't just give you a camper because you had a camper. You have to
Right.
still have to follow that ordinances, and that's what we're hoping to achieve, because we don't want to go back to where we were at.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Just to clarify, Tress, when you're talking about the mobile homes, are all of them gonna be new or some of them gonna be used? I'm just going by what I heard. I just want to clarify and make sure we know what we're doing.
So we're looking at either new, or sometimes they have them on the lot that may be discounted, and that's what we're looking at. We're not trying to give somebody something that is a 1950. We want to make sure, and it has to follow all the county zones and ordinances to be able to be put
So
on
you're
that
talking
lot.
about possibly something that may have been repoed or whatever, didn't meet zone 3 and all that stuff.
Correct.
That's good. I just can't stress from my standpoint anyway, please make sure that there's nothing that needs to be done to that trailer. In other words, they're gonna get it and have a flooring problem or some other, and that's gonna be hard to do, I understand, but trailers are really temporary in nature anyway, so mobile
Correct.
homes are, so.
Make sure they come up under that new standard of the storm code.
Correct, yes, and that's what we're looking at, either, like I said, either new or one that's actually been a demo on a lot or something like that. We're not really looking for someone's used and we're moving it from somewhere else.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I just want to recognize that the public should know that this conversation is all about the management of that former Franklin Promise money. This is the county in action, making sure that we have quality outcome for that money. And any of the folks out there publicly that are wondering whatever happened to the money, it's now being managed from a quality standpoint, and you're hearing it right now. I just want the public to know that.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else got anything from Ms. Triss?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted, it's not my meeting at all, but I just want to sort of give an idea to the public and to you all. The kickoff meeting is happening today. This is FEMA's opportunity. This is the county's first opportunity to come with FEMA's representative to talk about the overall damage to the county. And this is the opportunity to begin writing what are known as PWs, or project worksheets. So today is a kickoff meeting for that process to start. It usually lasts 60 days, but it may be a different timeline. So this is the period of time when we begin to present to FEMA the true cost of the damages that we incurred by Hurricane Michael. For the people in Alligator Point, the FCMC consultants who are handling Alligator Point recovery are going to be at the meeting this morning.
Correct.
So they're going to be out there. They're not going to be here this morning, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But they're out there. So this is our opportunity to begin the process of getting our damage money back. And that includes overtime, includes all the money we've already spent. This is the beginning of that process. The dilemma is that Congress has to approve an appropriation. So right now, we can write up $1 billion worth of funds until Congress acts. There will be no money coming back to the county. So I can't tell you how long it's going to take to get our coffers reimbursed for the money that we've already spent. I mean, hopefully it'll be a short period of time, or the overtime, the material, all the stuff we've spent already, but it could be months. It might be a year. I mean, Congress has got to appropriate the money and it's got to filter down. It's just, I just can't emphasize the financial strain that we're going to be on until this money starts flowing.
Well, let me just say, Mr. Chairman, that we are putting the documentation and support for the money we're asking for now, and that's timely. So we'll be really ready when they're ready. I think that's important.
Yes, no, we have a window. FEMA wants to know because they have to go to Congress with an idea of the appropriation.
Yeah.
So these numbers, they're called PWs, or project worksheets, and they're for each damaged area, each facility, and that'll give FEMA an idea how much to ask for. So an example on Alligator Point. Now, right now, we really don't know what the damage is. We have a path we're hoping to go down, which is an acquisition of the property and relocate the road. So there's going to be sort of a draft PW written, and I'm just making up a number, $3 million, and that's just sort of a holding point till we get down there and find out that's where we're going to go. So there's a little flexibility, but FEMA needs to know the overall cost of damages to the county, and that's what's starting today.
Yeah.
And it's 3 months after the storm, admittedly, but that's just how long it takes, and that's how big the storm was.
Yes.
And we're paying forward. Right now, we're beginning to tap in our general reserves. Is
Yes,
that
you are. You've not only begun, you're about halfway through.
That's what I was
At
wanting to
least.
hear.
I mean, you have burned through a lot of money on overtime and material costs trying to keep things running. I mean, a lot of money.
That's relative to the $1 million reserve we currently have, and we were about
Yes.
tapped out 50% of it, or
Well, I
so.
don't know about how much, but it's.
But-
Probably once we have to meet our insurance deductibles, which we haven't had to pay any of those as of yet, because
Yeah.
a lot of the repairs haven't been done, but yes, you probably are looking at about half.
Okay.
In which FEMA will come back and help with insurance deductibles, but again, that's a time delay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we're at a pivoted point to really watch this, where the money's coming from right now, right? So you'll keep us informed.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm glad to see Erin
All
here,
right.
in case you don't know, she's the big stick.
Yeah,
She
sure.
tells you there's no money.
Okay.
then-
That's really important. I agree.
We
Okay.
gonna work through it.
Yeah.
We'll work through it.
One more real quick, if I might, Mr.
Go
Chairman. We need to have Tim Center call me. So there's still some monies out there where we sold the metal that we took out of this Lime Rock wildfire, and we haven't got that check yet. Tim needs to call me and let me know who that check needs to be made to,
Okay,
so that it goes to the correct fund.
correct.
So if you'd have Tim call me, I'll
I
get
sure
that
will.
check mailed to him, get his address and what the check needs to be made out to.
I'll call him today and have him give you a call, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. The board has not voted yet on the motion to authorize EOC to research the use of the donated funds from the Lime Rock fire to purchase 3 mobile homes or 3 of the ineligible, or 3 individuals ineligible for the CDBG grant. We have the motion but no vote.
Okay. Y'all ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda will be Mr. Eric Lovestrand.
Eric is out of the county today.
Oh, here's Eric.
Oh, my bad.
Thank you for covering for me, Michael. I had talked to Michael about not being here, but my plans changed for today, so I just did not have anything additional for the board beyond the update report that I submitted for today.
Okay, y'all got anything from Mr. Eric? Keep up the good work. How you
sir.
coming with your, I know.
I actually had a conversation with the architect last week, and he is starting to put together the bid documents for the project so that it can be put out for bid for contractors. So we're right at that point where we're building the information that contractors will need to look at in order to move forward and submit bids. So it's still moving forward and making progress. We did get an extension also from FDAX for a 12-month period. That takes us up through December of 2019, actually, to be able to finish the project. They saw that we had issues relative to acquiring contractors because of the storm damage and, just the availability of contractors during this period. So I think we're on track.
Okay.
Eric,
Yes,
do we
sir.
have resolution on the eradication of the weeds around those critical taxiway one-way lights at Carabel Airport?
Not completely, but
working-
moving forward with that, I did get information on a couple of options for that, and I just need to research the labels very thoroughly. I have talked with the airport manager out there, and so he and I are on the same page as far as that's a project that we would not actually have to do any treatments on until we get into springtime, because we need to wait until those weeds are actually in the growing mode before you do any kinds of treatment on those.
Yeah.
So, yep, we're still trying to gather a little bit of information, so we're ready in the spring.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Michael.
Keep up the good work. Next on the agenda be Miss Lisa Lance, Library Director.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I have no action items, but want to address some of the community awareness resources that we have at the library. We have our winter computer classes that will start tomorrow at East Point at 10 o'clock. The first one is going to be basic computing, and it'll be Thursday at the Carabel branch at 10 o'clock. And to remind the public, free AARP tax aid begins at the end of this month, January 31st at Carabel. They'll be every Thursday, alternate between locations, and it's from 10 to 2. People need to come by and they register. There is an intake form that they need to fill out and bring back with them to their scheduled appointment. And our first Friends of the Library fundraiser is next Saturday, the 26th, at the East Point Library, and that's the annual soup, bread, and book sale. It'll start at 10 a.m. A lot of people have been asking about that. A lot of our winter residents enjoy that. So since this cold weather's come about, it's a good time to come get some soup. But we have a full calendar of events that people can stop by and pick up. And all of our children's programs are back in session since the holidays. So I welcome everyone back to the library and welcome our winter residents back as well. Anything else?
Okay, well, they gonna do the tax with the government shut down? I mean,
They're going to go ahead and start filing, from what I understand, and but they do need to go ahead and come in and register. But we do have them scheduled to start the 31st. So hopefully all that will be taken care of by the time that happens.
yeah, I know that part of it now, so. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else got anything for Ms. Lance?
Ms. Lance, we're gonna go on a break in just a few minutes. Could you hang around where I can speak to you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, keep up the good work. Y'all wanna break? Hmm? Y'all ready for the breakup?
No, it's a few minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, next on the agenda be Miss Amy Kelly,
Good morning.
Board of Adjustment. Good morning.
Good morning.
Amy, I'm about to give up on this laptop. It's not working. Oh, it's not a monitor laptop.
Mr. Chairman, can we recess so they can get that going?
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Oh, we're gonna take 5 minutes while they getting on. While they loading up the computer.